Been working on a project which I posted some stills of in a small video clip yesterday that negates, will help me with my figures, because I magnetise the bases and they conflict with each other, like they'll bounce the other one off because of the magnetism, or they'll fall over and then they'll snap together. And when you're doing a room full of monsters, and it's not good when in the middle of a battle you lose all your pieces and you don't know where you're at. So rather than take the magnets out, I thought I'd try and make bases so that they're magnetised. So this is what I've been doing for the last couple of days, is making them so the figures are magnetised to it, and I can put all manner of other magnetised figures around the others, and they're attracted to the base and not one another. So life is normal, as it were. So I posted it up on the Warhammer Quest Facebook page, and somebody said, "Oh, make a tutorial on how you do it." So I've taken delivery of some more bits and pieces today, so I thought, well, I'll put another base together and you can see what I'm doing. But as you can see, they stick pretty well. There's no glue or anything like that, it's just purely magnets. So anyway, I will take you through the process. I scanned the original files in something like 600 DPI, so they're really high quality scans, and then I sent them off to the files off to a company called Vistaprint, and had them print them out on a poster print glossy paper, premium glossy paper on a poster print A2 size, and they came back, and then I cut them out and laminated them. So that's it, that's all it is. It's just a simple print that's been laminated. I rounded the corners, so I have two different round shapes here. So I did a 10mm cut for the print, and then a 5mm cut for the edge, which you use basically these two items here for cutting the edges. So 10mm cut, all you do is you just pop it in there so it's square, and then you do a cut, so you get this nice round 10mm cut. And the other one is just a 5mm cut, and you just use an error there, pop that in so it's square, and give it a cut, so you end up with a 5mm cut. You can see them together. So I laid the 5mm cut, which is the print, inside the laminate sheet, which is a 10mm cut, and you get a nice kind of finish in there, which is what I've done here. Okay. The laminating pouches I use aren't very thick ones. They're just 150 microns, or the 75 microns each side, so you don't need big expensive laminating pouches. I use some magnetic sheet. It's not actually magnetic, it just attracts magnets to it, so I guess it's more like a metallic kind of sheet. There's a couple that I pulled out a minute ago. So yeah, that's it there. As you can see, they're not very thick, maybe 0.4 of a millimetre in thickness. So that's what I'll be sticking that to. And the main base to the whole thing is this Foamex, which is 3mm, 3mm Foamex. It's really light, it's not flexible, it's very rigid, and it cuts quite nicely. So that's the base. So you'd have the Foamex, then you do the magnetic sheet, followed up with the laminated sheet. It would look like this. So I have one sheet there, which is A4, and then I put another one in there. So you've got two A4s. So it's a sheet of A3 Foamex, two sheets of A4 metallic paper, and then that laminate on top like that. And then that's all going to be glued down together with some spray adhesive. I did try impact adhesive, but that didn't work. That was no good for it at all. So I'm going to go with, this is what I used last time, and it works a treat. I've got the two bits of magnetic sheet. Always give things down a little spray down and a wipe with some alcohol degreasing solution, and I'll give that a wipe down, and I'll do the same with the Foamex as well. Put my two A4 magnetic sheets together on this piece of cardboard. I'm going to spray them with the can of spray adhesive, and then from there I'm going to lift straight up onto this surface here. I've got a backboard here which they'll push up against, and that will become apparent as to why that's there. So I've already been shaking this for a minute or so, and I'm just going to apply it to the two surfaces now. Make sure I've got a good cover on there, and then turn it upside down and spray for a couple of seconds to clear the nozzle out. Right. What I tend to do is I'll leave that for a couple of minutes, so it becomes tacky on the surface, because at the moment it's still very wet, but if you leave it for a couple of minutes it will start to become tacky. But I'm going to move these from here. I need two hands now. I'm going to move these from here up to there, and then we'll spray the Foamex afterwards, same process. I've just shifted the magnetic sheets up onto the top there. I've got the Foamex to do now. It's in place. Okay, and then bring the nozzle out. Right, and I'll leave that for a minute or two to become tacky, and then the fun will begin trying to line it up onto them. That's the tricky part. So we're going to give this a go now. A minute or so has passed. Put this backstop on because I can push it up against here and drop it down after I line it up. Put that out. What I have to do now is I'll put a little bit of weight on here just to push these two surfaces together, and leave it for half an hour to bond properly. I've left the magnetic sheets and the Foamex to bond for half an hour. They've come together quite nicely. As you can see, there is a slight overlap just there. But all in all, that's come together quite nicely. So now I've got to spray up this surface here with the spray adhesive, and also have to do reverses of these two laminated sheets, spray them as well, leave them for a couple of minutes, and then apply these to the surfaces there, and then they will stick down. Leave them for half an hour, and then we'll be on to cutting them out. Give it a couple of minutes just to go tacky. Then I'll lift these and put them onto this surface, which has already been sprayed, just waiting for that to go tacky as well. Yeah, back in a minute. Right, so both the surfaces have been glued. This is obviously tacky. These are down now, so I'm just going to run my fingers just around the prints to make sure they've got some good firm adhesion going on. It is a little bit wasteful with these because the objective rooms will use up a whole piece of A4. So I guess you could do some kind of planning to try and be a bit more economical with how you're going to lay out your tiles onto your sheets. But these were the last two tiles that I had left to do from my first print of half a dozen rooms or so, or tiles even. But yeah, I'm just going to smooth these down. You can see they're on there, they're not going anywhere, and then I'm just going to leave this to cure. I'll get some weight back on here again just to hold them down, and leave that for half an hour, and then we'll be getting ready to trim out. I've placed them like this because it's easier to cut a lot of material rather than trying to butt this up really closely and then having a ½ millimeter or something like that which needs to be trimmed, and that's a lot harder to cut accurately. So I leave myself plenty to cut around the edges because it's easier to do so. Back in a little while when we're going to start ready to cut. So I've given my boards half an hour or so to glue properly, and I've just separated the two boards. I'm just going to do this one now. I've put a G-clamp down this end, and I've got a steel rule this side that goes underneath, and obviously a piece of wood here as well. And I'm just going to try and line this up as best I can with this line here of the mat. Okay, oh sorry, not the mat, but the laminate sheet. I can just see that there. There, okay. You could always mark it so you could see the ends easier. That would be the sensible thing to do. Not what I'm doing, but there you go. So anyway, we're going to draw along with a very sharp knife against the steel rule. I'm wandering off there for some reason. again, it's wandering off. It's not going to be a very good cut. I'll be surprised. Let's just move that light out of the way. We're starting to get through now. There we go. Okay, and then if we just lift this end, take this out. But an okay cut, it's not great. I've got to do a little trim up down here just to bring it in a bit. Other than that, it's okay. Now I've got to do this side, down here, and along here, and the same with the other one, and then we'll be done. I'll be back once it's finished. So we've finished. They're all cut now and trimmed to the size and everything. I've chamfered the back edges a little bit as well, so just to get rid of, because the Foamex can be a little bit coarse on the edge, so I just used a file just to rub along the edge, so it just takes the sharpness off a little bit. And yeah, so that's all finished now, and as you can see, I can move the dwarf over to a brighter place in the middle of the board there, and it ain't going nowhere. Nowhere at all. So yeah, quite happy with that. I hope the rubbish tutorial I've put together is understandable. Yeah, anyway, thank you very much, guys. Cheers, and on to the roller one phase.